general public that this could affect as possible. Because it's not something that should be bringing anybody down any farther than it has the potential to. That's just, it's not going to help anybody like that. But what will help is as much exposure and contributions and positive attitudes just spreading as far and as wide as we can get it, and with a lot of help from the guys at the Daily Press, I'm sure it's going to come through quite well.
Any words of advice for the guys out there?
Feel them at least once a month. You got to check them out. If you don't want to, have your girl. You got to do it though. It's if you suspect even a little something's wrong, it's worth a trip to the doctor. It really is. I promise. I promise. It's nowhere near as embarrassing as you might think. If it turns out to be something that you don't want it to be, you'll be glad you did. Trust me. You will absolutely be glad you did. So feel them once a month, fellas, or else.
That's perfect.
Great.
I knew you were going to say something like that. That's why I asked.
All right, good. It can make all the difference. It really can. You know, I even feel like I kind of maybe even waited longer than I should have. You know, at this point, which really, it probably wasn't. I don't know, maybe 2 weeks from the first time I felt a little bit of,
That's a little weird.
like that's kind of an odd, kind of dull pain, kind of in my stomach, almost like I got kicked like a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty easy to ignore. Then you start actually feeling around in the shower a little bit, and it's like, oh, that shape isn't right. That's not right.
Right.
That's not right. Quick trip to the doc. And, you know, like, by that point, like, after you go see just kind of the regular doc and you're referred to a specialist or a urologist, and that's when your suspicions go up a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And it's, as odd as it might sound, when something like that is wrong, you know. It's a really primitive, kind of intuitive kind of feeling that you get, that one that I've never had before.
Yeah.
And even still, I kind of find it hard to describe. But
the body sort of understands.
yeah, you really do, like, you know something's up, and you don't want to, you know, like I was telling her, I didn't even want to mention that, because I don't want to worry her or my family or any more, you know, with what might appear as a negative attitude about it, or, you know, just kind of that bad vibe, you know. You don't want to expose that too early, even though at the same time, back of your head, you know.
Right.
You know something's not right.
Right.
Something isn't quite right. So you just kind of hold off, wait for the sure news, which I got, and then then I wasn't so much afraid to explain to them that I kind of had a feeling anyway. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And
well, that was what Armstrong was talking about in his book. He was talking about how, you know, as a cyclist, you train to deal with a lot of pain. You know, they say dish out the pain, you're putting other cyclists in suffering. You deal with a lot of suffering, and you know, when he started first having symptoms, that's how he just sort of wrote it off. He said, this is just something going on because I'm pushing my body or whatever.
That's exactly right. I mean, I can certainly relate to that. I mean, some of the things that, I mean, she understands being a fighter too, you know. You just destroy yourself for for really what's a tiny little victory in all of life, all of the world. This really is not that different. It's really not. I've found myself in much more pain in a fight than I have with this cancer thing a few times. Yeah. So
probably the fact that you're physically active helps you quite a bit.
I think so too. And I think that's why they were, you know, pretty confident. Right now, you know, pushing pretty hard, 5 days a week. Go.
The other thing that's interesting is I think it's hard to get guys your age and younger to think about that kind of stuff.
I think it is. I think it is.
They're at that age where I'm invincible.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? Like I exactly understand.
I'm a little older now,
it's, you know, it can't happen to me type of thing. Like it, but what I didn't understand is that I am right smack dab in the middle
That's the risk
of when it's
area.
gonna happen. Like
Right.
if it's gonna happen to somebody,
It's gonna happen.
it's gonna happen to somebody my age, my race,
Right.
my past history, which I just recently found out. Having an undescended testicle as an infant, the day I was born,
Increase the risk.
by five times.
Wow.
Okay, that on top of having an inguinal hernia when I was about 8 or 9, also increased the risk several times. So both of those on top of one another, it was just I probably should have paid a little bit more attention to that, but they didn't know necessarily all this stuff in 1983, the day I was born, and
Right.
maybe didn't warn my mom and dad that this could potentially lead to something else. But fact of the matter is, we know now.
Yeah.
So if somebody doesn't start spitting the info out,
Well, it's good.
quick,
Info, right? That's key right there, because you're in the shower, you check things out, and maybe you feel something, you caught it early.
and now you're that much farther ahead. Maybe it doesn't get to your lungs. Maybe it doesn't get to your lymph nodes. Maybe it just stays right there, and all you got quick little surgery, and you're good to go. I mean, really, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's really not. But I certainly appreciate you guys giving me a little bit of time, though.
No, don't worry
I
about
really
it. Don't worry about it. I mean, like I said, I follow Lance Armstrong, and it's something that I can't turn my family to, and it's something that I always think about. It's something I can relate to, and I'm always, we did a story on an athlete a few months back. There was a Hampton High basketball player that just got done fighting leukemia.
Really?
He went through the bone marrow transplant and everything, and
I heard that's pretty rough.
apparently he's doing well now. Apparently it's knocked it down.
That's great.
He's at home recovering right now.
That's great.
But yeah, it looks like he's doing really, really well.
Man, that's good news. That's for sure. It really is.
Well, I hope everything works out for you.
Oh, I'm sure it will, without a doubt. Without a doubt, I'll keep you all posted.
Get that book, man. I just can't tell
I'm
you.
gonna. No, I
can't
absolutely
tell you
will.
What an inspiration that book is. To me, like the part of the book that stands out the most, and you'll appreciate this because you're an athlete. He was, as he's going through his treatments, the cycling team that he was racing for dropped him. So, So there was this moment of panic where, oh my God, how am I going to pay for this? I'm losing my insurance, whatever. And it turned out he immediately got picked up by another team who ended up taking care of him. But then that first Tour de France that he won, he went out on the time trial, and he set the record for the Tour de France on the time trial. And this was a great moment, and it made me cheer a little bit. As he's riding back from the time trial, he gets back and he goes by the team bus that dropped him. And he looks at him and goes, "That was for you."
Exactly.
I was like, yeah.
See, that's exactly the kind of drive that can give people that extra push. Like that little bit of something that for them to hold on to or grab a hold of that'll get them to that finish line, and not necessarily across the Tour de France. You know what I mean? But across the threshold of the door from chemo or the next step or radiation or this, that, and the third. It's
Thanks for your time, man.